Good afternoon. How are you? Okay. What is a perspective to you? Do you have any idea? What is your perspective if I'll ask you? Okay. All right. While I was on my way to this place, I just recall a short story which I read in my childhood. I think everybody has read that story. It's about the tortoise and the hare. And who won in the end? The tortoise. That's all about the perspective of the tortoise. I never comprehend the story before I was coming over here. So I think to play your perspective, one has to be persistent. Alright, do you know Martin Luther King and his famous speech, I Have a Dream? Okay. What is the perspective of Martin Luther King? He wants to climb the hill to the peak of the hill to end the long summer discontent amongst the people who were discriminated on their skin color. And he said that if there is an autumn of content, if there is an autumn of a change that can be implemented in the society, that is better than a summer day. That was his perspective. If I talk about myself, I was born good, as every child born good. But by the years, progressively, I had grown worse. Why? Because of the circumstances. Because of the taboo that I'm a girl. I wasn't allowed to do many things that my little heart wanted to do. But at that time, I had decided that I have to pursue my perspective, and that won't matter, that I won't be allowed to perceive my dreams. As a child, I was very shy and quiet, sitting in the corners till I was required. Behind my mirthful face, nobody had ever noticed my silent sacrifices. Till the time when a day the cricket of my compulsion, or you can say the cricket of my compromise, dropped down on the earth and stopped chirping like a merry bird. My gleeful presence was vanished, and what was left behind, a deep sorrow and shadow. But at that time, I had decided that no matter what will be the hurdles, I won't care. If I could not change my circumstances, I could change my perspective. Before pursuing my perspective to be a free writer, to write about the things which are not allowed to be said by a girl, I had made up my mind that I had to make myself fond of strong storms, bleak winds, fly far out to the sea, happy but all alone. Like every other girl, I built castles in air. I got the key in my hand, but by the time I was confused whether I would be able to unlock the door of my dreams or they'll remain unclosed. But I did not give up. I knew it that the dead people, they receive more flowers as compared to the living ones. So it hasn't stopped in my life, but whenever I feel that I need to revive my perspective, I always take a step back, take a deep breath, and just ready to throw a googly. Do you know what a googly is? It's a googly ball. Dennis Lilly, who was very much famous for playing the googly balls, that you don't know that in which direction you are going to bowl the batsman. So I take my destiny as a batsman, and I started throwing googly to my destiny, because I don't want to live just as a mere spectator of my collective fate. I want to fight it persistently. Misery, misfortune, and agony. You can't detach them from your lives. I have my own problems. Somebody is having one's own problem. So, misfortune, agony, and suffering, like three witches of Macbeth, keep on following me. And they nourish my feminism, because I never let them to cast a spell on me. They follow me, and I keep on fighting against them. And that was my perspective, that I need to fight them back efficiently and effectively. Well, let me share one thing with you. I'm standing here in front of you as a writer, and mostly people say that don't write about taboos. Even when I was Google my name, I came to know one thing, that the manuscript of mine, which is most famous on Goodreads, is about blasphemy. So my son, he became so upset, and he said that, why don't you delete this book, please? I don't want to lose you. I said, there's nothing into it, even if it's about blasphemy. So that is how the perspective can be changed if you are having mere pressure from the society. I was stopped to write when I was a young girl of just 17 years old. I stopped it for the time being, but I wanted to play my perspective skillfully. Then I started writing again. I was a child when the Afghan war was started. And being a child, I did not like whatever was going around me. But by the time I met some of the refugees in Afghan camp who really did not lose their perspective. They are living diligently with their perspective. They have a spark in them, which made me write my first novel. And I really salute all the refugees, because right now, the time in which we all are living here, a continuous debate is going on, that whether refugees are good for the host country or not. I have come across many examples who inspire me. One example is a poor shepherdess from Morocco who was an immigrant. And when she reached to another country, she was objectified because of her religion, because of her identity, because of her social status being a poor girl. But she just did not care for anything, and she took out all the thorns which were lying at her footstep, and she became the most successful politician as being the education minister in France, Najat Abul Qasim. Let's watch a video, and then you'll come across that how your perspective can change your life, even if you are from a poor background. I would like to share the reading experience of Harper Lee's novel To Kill a Mockingbird. I think that many of you have read it. Have you? Okay. So, when I read it, I wasn't knowing that someday I will relate it to the American President Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was elected as the president, I just recall all the quotes which I read in To Kill a Mockingbird. Whether you accept it or not, it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. Girls like Najat or Barack Obama, ones whose race was worstly discriminated, that it was written at the doors of the US, the dogs, not in US, everywhere, that dogs and blacks are not allowed. And Obama became the president of United States, not once, but twice. And last night, I was going through the Twitter account of Obama, where the Americans were asking him to be the president the third time as well. So isn't it the change in the perspective? Well, I just salute Obama's mother. As Obama said in one of his speech, that he was a single parent child. His mother worked the entire day, and she did not earn enough money to enroll her son to one of the good American schools. But she wanted Obama to go through American syllabus. So after having the hectic entire day at the job, she came back and she remained awake till the night and taught her son that American syllabi. At that time, she wasn't knowing that one day her son would be the president, just breaking the ice of that racial discrimination. So these are the perspectives that can change one's life. Everybody has to live up with a perspective. But before that, you know the story of Cinderella? What was her perspective? Did she go to the ball to be the princess? Did she? No. She didn't know that she had to flee the palace before the midnight chime with one shoe, but she managed to run away, to flee away from the palace. But eventually, she became the princess. So even though your task is hard, your journey is harder, learn to flee, learn to hop with one shoe. Never care that you have missed one shoe. Where it is fallen, you never know. When you'll be a successful person, that shoe will come back to you. Well, in a good way. Nobody will throw a shoe on you. So, different people have their different perspective, whereas the dilemma of the refugees is still a long story, which is still going on and on. It's easy to say that refugees are the threats to the country peace, but I think it's not like that. If you just learn to live with the template, with the human psychology, human physiology, and human psychology and physiology and philosophy of life, you will take it as positively. Najat, you or I can be the successful people with our own perspective. It might be that our presence be a threat to the others, but believe in yourself and learn it to fight back effectively. How can you crush the spirit of a woman who has reached to the place where she is now? You just cannot. Thank you very much.